Folks, here at Hulbert Promotions, we stand in firm opposition to the scheduling and the formatting and the scripting of modern weekly professional wrestling. We see if there's a venue, we see if there's the talent, and we go out there and work, right? We get in front of the people, we do our match. It's a hell of a time. We have about an hour here, folks, just over. And Ibu of Wrestle Purist, Ibu of Hanging with Hulbert, said, let's go out there and make a town, brother. Ibu, how are you today?
I'm good, Joe. I had my best sleep in, my God, months. And I woke up feeling good. And I was, stretching the muscles out. And I said, you know what, man, I can make a fucking town. Let's make a fucking town. So I'm feeling pretty good. It would be better if, when you leave something in the fridge or in the microwave, it's supposed to be for you, and you're looking forward to when you get up and you get that thing, and someone took it, and you're like, what the fuck?
That can ruin a man's week. It would be real.
I had 2 Popeyes chicken sandwiches supposedly waiting for me. And I got up, Joe, and I was getting ready for this Hulbert House show here. And there's only one left. It's just like, what the fuck? Unfortunately.
That's crazy, dude. That's not even the kind of snack that someone can just take a little of. It's you just ate the sandwich.
Someone just took a whole one and was like, all right, this is mine. This is why people start writing their names on things, But I'm feeling good. Feeling pretty good, Joe. I saw you tweeting about Noah this morning.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God.
Well, I have a free trial with Wrestle Universe, so get bang for your buck.
Absolutely.
I watched the Shiozaki 20th anniversary match.
Tell me about
and so it's spoilers ahead, folks. I know this happened hours ago, but I recommend everyone watch it. But it was a time limit draw. So at 30 minutes, you got some old heads in there. It was a little bloated, I'll say. I'll put it politely. I don't know if you saw the lineup, but it was Uncle June with Shiozaki opposite the new tag champs Marufuji and Sugiura.
Oh, that sounds sick.
Right, that's why I watched it.
That sounds sick.
But some old heads, right? I mean, it is what it is. Some boys beat up in there. They're going 30. So
they're probably not in the Budokan, so it's like...
They're not. But it builds to this finish. Now, again, the spoilers here, folks, but I need to just get this. This was incredible. So Akiyama comes in and plays a hit or two at the end. And then he points to Shiozaki as if to say, this is the moment. Now is your time. End this thing in style. It's your anniversary show. Let's fucking win this match. And Shiozaki builds himself up and he fights to his feet and the people are rocking. And he heads up top for a moonsault for the fairy tale ending. And Sugiura blocks the moonsault with his knees. The time limit draw bell rings. And these 2 old fuckers just lay there in agony for 90 seconds without moving. And the people are clapping, but it's a finish entirely dedicated to the idea of just getting old. It's awesome, dude. He had a fairy tale ending, but it wasn't meant to be, man,
Kind of poignant in a weird way.
Yeah.
It's kind of pointed. It has the match has. We say this with fictional media like literature, books or movies, whatever. But this match had something to say.
It did. It did because Shiozaki is the young man among those 4 gentlemen,
and he's 42.
Yeah. Right, but famously, obviously, he's physically worn down a lot because I know the pandemic title reign in particular kicked the shit out of him, right? Because he was just trying with all his might to kind of resurrect Noah. And I think he did a hell of a job with that. That was the reign that got me back interested in Noah.
Same. And he paid the physical toll for it. But yeah.
He did. I mean, honestly, Marufuji would be, I'm pretty sure, is the second youngest of those gentlemen, and he's in a similar place physically. Sugiura is, I mean, him and Shiozaki are both still great. Don't get me wrong. But, dude, we need to get, if we're going to do this WWE Noah thing, we need that Sheamus Sugiura match, dude. That's what we need.
That'd be pretty fucking sick, Joe Hulbert. I'll tell you what. God, I'm fucked. Where are they going to be at? They're going to be in. They're going to be in Budokan. The 7/13 Budokan show. The car's looking pretty good. You know, I don't want
Yeah,
to
man.
jinx myself because I sat through the entire Gabe Kaito show live and was not treated to quality wrestling. But this one should have a strong top to bottom card, and it seems pretty full. But WWE is going to be around Japan in that same vicinity of time, so it would be nice if they threw one more guy on there. You know, so
Yeah,
we'll see who it's going to be, or if that would if that would happen. But yeah, man, it'd be really fucking neat.
it
I
would.
That tag sounds awesome, and the way you describe it, where it kind of slow builds and then like it's a lot of notable names, and in that final closing stretch, like these guys kind of explode. That sounds very throwback Puro, to be honest with
He
you.
is. He is. Kobashi is in the building. He comes out before the match and sits on commentary. And they do a cool deal where, because it's Shiozaki's night, Marufuji is a real dick in this match and kind of like leans heel, and the
Yeah,
people are really with Gar. I mean, it's a really good match. I mean, that's we talk about this a lot, and I think we have similar mindsets in this regard. I've not been as good at it this year because I was burnt out after the match guy, but that's the beauty of just jumping around with wrestling, right? It's like
you run
there's
into some neat shit
yeah,
sometimes that it's like, oh, that was really fucking cool,
yeah. I think right with the way like social is with wrestling, I think people that's been like ruined by the enjoy all wrestling shit. It's like, I don't enjoy all wrestling at all, actually.
Yeah, no, a lot of it's pretty bad, but
But you can enjoy different wrestling from different places is actually the point, right?
correct.
It's
Correct. What it should be is you should just be open-minded to sampling different wrestling,
right.
and you might run into some other shit you like. And when you do that and you're not beholden to one promotion, your enjoyment of wrestling isn't beholden to how good or bad one promotion is. When you're just someone who's only watching WWE or you're only watching AEW and they're not kind of really doing it for you in the moment, then that's bad for your fandom unless you're also looking at other places. Whereas if you're somebody that has things to like about this place, that place, this place, that place, then it's like, all right, well, this I'm not too hot on this right now, but I'm feeling this,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of the game.
No one wrestling promotion is going to scratch every itch, right? And you also
Absolutely not.
you have I personally anyway, I go through different kicks. I go through, sometimes I want to see more of this. At some points, when Collision started, we became kind of freaks for that, like
Yes.
old school US TV kind of vibe, right? That was kind of
Yeah.
our thing.
Mm.
And then you trend away from that, you go in another direction. You do. I mean, that's the beauty of it. But there's always more stuff to watch. Also, I mean, you talk about Puro sometimes too. I'm a million miles behind you in that regard, But it's like,
Mm.
but that's exciting to me because it's like one day I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get the motivation and go. I'm gonna watch this fucking '90s New Japan stuff, right? It's like
Yeah.
because it would inevitably happen. I'm a lunatic.
Yeah. I was gonna say it'll just inevitably happen.
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah.
funny for me is I'll revisit the period and be like, I know there's a blind spot somewhere. I'll do it, right. And so before it was like, man, I just want to go through New Japan's 1990s. Then it was like, well, I mean, I probably should consume the most important stuff of the Four Pillars era, and I did that. I was like, I should definitely see the biggest stuff from All Japan Women. I did that. Then I remember in the pandemic, I was like, let me go through Michinoku Pro, and then I did, and then I was like, well, I enjoyed the UWFI stuff I was seeing when they were interacting with New Japan. Why don't I just watch their full shows? And I did that. Then I was like, all right, what else do we have here? And then you start getting real sick and freaky, because then it's like, then you're looking at Battle Arts, and Pancrase. And, and it starts getting nastier and grimier and dirtier. But I love the scene at the time. And I feel like I could write a book on it, weirdly.
Should.
Right.
I got close on a couple projects, dude. I did a book about or I was halfway through, a little bit more actually. I give myself credit. I'd say I was 60-70% for you, part of the way through. And it was about the Cruiserweight Classic
Right.
leading into 205 Live. And it just it kicked the shit out of me going through it all because it's so much TV that I'd forgotten how many episodes they did of that fucking show.
Yep.
But then inevitably, your brain trends out, and I'm sure I'll go back to this in 2040 when no one gives a fuck anymore. No one gives a fuck now, let alone 2040, and I'll be like, I've got this book, folks, ready to
It's
go.
funny. It's funny, Joe, that I last year I actually rewatched like the first 60% of the Cruiserweight Classic completely out of boredom, And I was like, man, this is really neat. This is just really neat.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
Absolutely
it's
awesome.
super fucking cool.
That's a really interesting time. You know, we talked about on the last Hanging with Hulbert, I think that there was interest for a boom. It's just Vince's main roster creative fucking killed it. And again, for the best of the industry. But yeah, it's a fascinating time.
The funniest thing on Run Revisit was one of the days had there's a Grand Metalik versus Tajiri match, I want to say.
Yeah.
And there was a Gargano Ciampa match on that same show. And the Ciampa Gargano match was treated as like the standout match that was clearly going to lead to something in the future for both men involved. And it makes total sense, right? And if you know the trajectory, it's like this was the kind of the starting point of all that, right? However, on rewatch, because I've seen all the Gargano Ciampa stuff and I know where it goes, and I've seen every, just incarnation of it. I've seen every permutation of the match and the dynamics and all that type of stuff. I watched that match in the Cruiserweight Classic and like felt nothing, even though it was like objectively good work.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Jerry Graham at League match that I got really into, and within that, there was almost this racial aspect of it for me. I'm watching this and I'm like, these are two white indie guys doing white man indie wrestling, and then here's straight from the source, pure lucha libre, going against Tajiri, who is a lucha wrestler guy, a guy who in his own promotions was always doing his own version of lucha libre in Japan to mix with the strong style, and it was just a lovely mix. I thought I was back in Michinoku Pro, and that was lovely. That was a beautiful 3 3/4, Joe Hulbert.
Are you aware of the weird like run that followed that for Tajiri? How aware are you?
Wasn't he like half signed and like they didn't really know what to do with him, and he was kind of around and not around, and they didn't know if they're gonna debut him on Raw, and then like kind of faded away. It was weird.
Yeah, because he was the start of 205 Live. He was still working Japan, and he was like, they would run like vignettes, like Tajiri. Tajiri's coming.
I vaguely remember this. Yeah, I got excited for it for some reason. I was like, oh my god, let's go Tajiri.
I think he did a program with Kendrick. I think I'm gonna have a look. I'm pulling this up. There's a very funny match also that I will cite in a moment. Yeah, he worked one squash match and then it didn't lead to anything. This was the match. This is his last ever WWF match. Here we okay. January 5th, 2017, Full Sail University. Dark main event. Shinsuke Nakamura and Tajiri over Bobby Roode and Samoa Joe. Real match that happened at Full Sail University as the dark main event, brothers.
That's insane.
Different time, brother.
That is just insane.
Just to send the 400 people home happy.
It's pretty sick. I miss Full Sail.
I do too. I don't really like the place they do TV now.
It's better than the first version of it. Do you remember when they first moved to that place before it got remodeled, and it had like those like fences blocking the fan?
Yeah.
Remember that in that era where you're just banging on this fucking fence thingy, and there was like a wall of fucking LED digital fans on webcams above the fans.
That was weird because they stayed forever. Those digital fans, even well beyond when there was fans in the building. It was very strange.
They did a mix of both, and I thought that setting was dire. I thought that setting was gross, to be honest with you. I hated it. So when they first switched to this, I was like, "This is a big upgrade. I like this much more." But yeah, it's not Full Sail at all. You know,
it's a weird place for atmosphere because they go fucking nuts for some things, and other times they just like I watched. Obviously, I saw the clip of Joe Hendry's entrance, which got like a Road Warrior pop hilariously, and then I saw Mia's match, and obviously I saw the Good Brothers match. And Mia was working with
Did you see the Battle Royal?
No, absolutely not.
It was I gotta say, it was actually good. The final they did an extended closing stretch with Kazarian, Dragon Lee, Javon, and 10-Man, the chair guy. And there we go. And I was like, this is pretty fucking good. Hilariously, Kazarian and Chairman had this kind of fun veteran heel rapport, and I was like, this should be a tag team. It's
Dude, they'd probably be the best tag team on SmackDown.
There you go, exactly. I'm watching them, and it did remind me, like, yeah, Kazarian can go, and so can 10 Guy. So yeah. But back to you're saying you were watching the Good Brothers match.
Yes, yeah. So it was it was the Good Brothers match was whatever, but I was watching Mia's match because
Right.
we both like Mia,
Mm.
and I haven't seen Kalani Jordan work other than that ladder match, and like the people are just like watching them wrestle. And at one point, Mia does this, and this is where the NXT thing, like, it's tough for me. I respect it, but it's tough. Mia, like, puts Kalani on her shoulders, stands there for like 10 seconds, getting herself ready, and then it's like, okay, go. And they do a Poison Rana. And
Oh.
yeah, and I'm like, I get it, but you know, it's fine. She's brand new, right? Here's what it is.
Mm.
But the people, I guess they see Poison Rana. I don't know. I guess they see them. They didn't even respond to a Poison Rana.
That's pretty crazy.
In a TV studio, dude. And it was fascinating to me just watching the way they reacted. It didn't seem like they were super into Kalani, to my ear. I don't know. I don't watch closely. So.
Yeah, she's just kind of a white meat girl
Yeah.
that they like. That, you know, she's a nice girl that does some things and she's coming along pretty well. And
She has some cool offense, right? It's just like it's the thing with the NXT kids, it's that fine line between like being innovative, being creative, and doing like full on like dance moves, you know? It's at times that's an issue in an exhibit. I mean, I think it comes with time or not. Depends, I suppose.
I was gonna say, or not, you know.
We've got some examples of it not.
During
Yeah.
that NXT. This was a shot during that NXT show because I was skimming through because I've now officially become a guy that I will watch everything Javon does just to monitor his progress, and I enjoy doing it. I enjoy picking out wrestlers that I have my eye on and just monitoring them. And I do this for like every promotion, right? But I was watching Javon stuff, and I end up coming across this backstage segments, the NXT women's locker room, with like 7 or 8 white women, and I was just like, my God, they just manifest these. Make sure to leave a like, or you'll end up like Chad Gable. I have so many questions. Like, is he dead? Is he...
Because I know you did it on Raw, but this is Hubert Promotions, and I didn't see that. So we'll just on Raw, like you're on Monday Night Raw, on the Raw review, folks. You can watch on this. So I don't know what you said about this white suits business. So before we go any further, we talked about it privately. I thought it was very cool in terms of like the way it was produced. I thought the visuals were sick. I thought Nikki Cross looked fucking awesome. Like I thought it was very cool, and I thought it was also very neat in like the kind of sentimental way, you know, as a gesture. I liked it. How the fuck do you follow it up on the wrestling TV? I have no clue. Do you think they're even going to try, or do you think they just kind of reset? How do you do it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's, you know, my preference would be that on this SmackDown, because it's the same promotion. Nick Aldis acknowledges the events of that closed Monday Night Raw. He assures the fans and the talent that we have reinforced security, and we'll make sure that does not happen on our broadcast. And maybe midway through the show, the commentators give us some type of update of some kind on Chad Gable, and they can say, you know, here's what we can tell you guys right now. This happened. Chad Gable is expected to A, B, or C, or D. Because here's my thing: is he dead? Because if he's dead, then why did they do all this heavy-handed Chad Money in the Bank stuff? Because he cut a promo about winning Money in the Bank, and I wanted to do it to show Otis that he could successfully cash in. And then right late, like literally like maybe 20 minutes before the attacks, we were told that he's going to be in a 3-way. Now, I guess you could bait and switch it, but it's like, just don't book him in it if you want to kill him. I don't know. But or he's just going to come back next week and he's like, that was weird. I don't know what that was about. Anyway, it's like, okay. I don't know. Or is he written off? I'm not sure. All I know is this. I am pedantic as a wrestling fan, and I would like attention to detail to be applied to things. And this is going to be one of those angles that's going to require more attention to detail than wrestling usually gives.
Yeah.
In the sense that obviously we're going to need some follow-up about what the fuck happened, right? But beyond that, are these people contracted talent to WWE? And if they are, will their deals get revoked or what? Are the talent in the locker room going to be like, hey, fuck that, we want to fight them? Or are they going to say, hey, Adam Pearce, I'm afraid of my life, and this job is not a safe working environment. I do not want to work with this demon lady. You know, a lot of those little logistical things. Now, obviously, some of this might be, again, too far for WWE wrestling. But if they can at least attempt to explain just what some of this is and what will happen and going forward, all that, that'll be nice. And I would like to also know, will these people be wearing these costumes when the bell rings, or is that just the aesthetic on the entrance? So it's one of those things for me where They nailed this debut. I thought it was awesome. The presentation was really nice. The production values were high. It was shot beautifully. And I have no hesitations or qualms calling the introduction a success and a thumbs up. What I will not do is prematurely declare the group as a whole a success, because I don't know how it functions in a wrestling show. And anybody prematurely proclaiming that this is just going to work, I think you're just jumping the gun a little bit. I hope it does, because God bless. I mean, we spoke about it, Joe. Like, it was moving in its own way. It was moving. Just hearing that Bray music again, the piano, like, it was nice to see. And so for everybody involved, I hope it turns out well. I just don't know if it will, and I guess yet to be seen. We'll have a better, clearer picture next week, I think.
Yeah, because I mean, I generally am on the same page as you in terms of attention to detail and explaining and tying up loose ends. But I gotta be honest, dude, this might be one where you might be better not trying. To be honest with you. I gotta be real, man. I mean, I think this is one of those ones that's unique enough that you may just you may want to kind of treat this as just like it's a separate thing that happened once. I don't know. I get that sounds ridiculous, but like, I don't know how you can like logically follow up in a way that doesn't slot them higher than they should be, and then you're going to set them up to foul, So it's because I'm with you. Like, look, you're right. It is too soon to even judge, right? It's a first angle. First angle went great. I do think some people, this is just my opinion, but I think some folks are like so desperate to not be sensitive with this that they're just coming across like lunatics. To me personally, that's just me.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
like, you can be tactful, like, bro. Like,
I feel like people are like almost jumping with joy to like be the snarky, cynical guy on social media about it. Like it's almost like they're trying to outdo. They're trying to outdo their friends with just like burying it. And again, listen, I'm not even saying you have to be into this type of thing. I don't even like spooky stuff in wrestling.
Yes, we're probably not going to like it.
Yeah. But there's just this like weird, it just feels like joy being taken by some people to just kind of like, just be that like that snarky guy, you know what I mean? To be that kind of like cynic that just says the thing, because you know what I mean. I know you know what I mean, right? It just kind of feels like, damn, dude. Can you give it a week? Can you give them a reason to bury you? Bury it?
I get shit for it sometimes, where people are like, you could just, you don't have to be light-handed with it. You could just say what you think. It's like, well, no, I actually think there's something to be said for being tactful and respectful. I don't like me. This is just me. You've done enough shows with me to know this is the case. It's like, I think there is a way to be honest with your opinion without being like blunt and sort of acting like you're some sort of badass because you give a brutal wrestling take. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
that's a good point. Some of these people, I think they legitimately feel like, they
puff their chest out.
Yeah, like, walking around like Mike Tyson and just kind of like, that was bullshit. This isn't gonna fucking work. Typical fed. It's like,
to me, it's like, I'm very aware of my taste, and this probably won't pop me for very long. But it's like, I'll wait, and when if it does foul, I'll probably not word it as like some sort of attack. It's just, I don't know. It's just, that's me. Probably another conversation for another day, but nonetheless,
I just don't see how it's.
Goes. Yes.
I don't know. I just feel like not everything has to be applied to like your kind of weird online point scoring thing that you do. Like, I don't know.
It's while I get your brain is you want those loose ends tied up, and we've discussed that a million times. We're in the same place on that, but it's like there's always like some people are posting about like WWF is Mid-South, like I mean, it's always been pretty loose with these things, right?
Definitely.
I know you know that, but it's that stuff pops me as well. It's like a friend of mine, and if he sees this, he knows that I'm bringing him up lovingly. But he was like, "Why would the cameraman walk into the scene?" And I was like, "Because there aren't cameramen in WWE, bro. They're just like our eyes into the fucking world. They never even acknowledge cameramen other than when they need to. It's a very dumb
wrestling.
It's the WWF,
I actually asked someone in WWE about that cameraman thing, and they told me Nikki Cross was pointing them towards where to shoot.
Oh, okay, that's even funnier.
It is. Basically, in their minds, it's that the cameraman caught Nikki. Nikki, if you remember, she points back and she's like, there. And the cameraman's like, okay.
Okay, that's actually much funnier. The idea that was where she pointed, like,
yes.
The cameraman just blindly, okay.
And he was like, all right. And she's like, this is what we did. capture it.
Oh well.
Yeah,
You got a great reaction. Hopefully it pans out.
it did. It did. Yeah.
So what else have you been? I'm on Cage Match now. Have you heard this, Ibu? I'm on Cage Match.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared.
Are you see this? This is the thing. We're good friends, folks.
Mhm.
Ibu and I are friends, believe it or not. Okay, and I've had a couple things happen recently that have scared my friend Ibu. One was getting a prediction right, which you said you found unsettling and alarming.
Yes.
And then I made a cage match. And as a friend, I felt like that 1-2 punch really rattled you quite a bit. So, I don't know.
Yeah, you know, I'm trying to be supportive. You know what I mean? I'm really trying to just be supportive. But, you know, it's just kind of difficult to not be concerned about these things. I feel like you're just going to get deep in, and it's going to be violent for all of us, you know? You're going to start posting about, like, you know, just your rank. I want to run into a match, and, like, I want to see Joe's fucking paragraph comment on the bottom of it, you know? And it's just going to be weird.
Are you concerned by the fact that I've had the ability to rate matches for 2 days and I have rated 58 matches? Is that alarming to you? Because it's, you know, sure,
That's
fine,
crazy.
right?
How
Average score 6.78.
You know what, Joe? You know what, Joe?
What's up?
I want you to read all 58 of your ratings right now on rapid fire.
Okay, let's actually do this fucking stupid bit.
All
Right?
right, let's do it.
You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, folks, I'm a round up guy. If it's 3 1/4, that's a 7 out of 10. I round up. Okay? I'm a respectful guy. We're going to do this very quick. Good Brothers at the Apex, 7 out of 10. Dax and Tommy Billington, 7 out of 10. Kyle and Roddy, 8. AJ and Randall, 1. 8. Arn and Barry Windham, Slamboree 93, 7. Arn and Big Bubba, 6. Arn and Ric Flair, 6. The Good Brothers and AJ Styles at NXT Full Sail, 7. That was a real thing that happened. Do you remember that, by the way?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, 7. Finn and Samoa Joe from London, 8. This is the funniest. Here we go. Alexa and Nicola, 7. The Return of the Dragon, Ricky Steamboat comeback match, 7.
The one from 2 years ago?
Yeah. AJ and Roddy Strong, 8. Dustin and Jack Perry, a very, very healthy 7 compared to the 5.4 average that those pieces of shit have given it over there. Fucking detectives over there.
Cage Match doesn't get Dustin Rhodes.
It's horseshit, bro. That was disgusting.
Yeah, they don't get it.
I also gave a 7 to the 6-man from Dynamite and the Mercedes match. 10 Ruin Flair, Wrestling and Romance, 9 out of 10. That's a classic, by the way. You and I love that match, right? We love
it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
8 for Phoenix and Ospreay. Here we go. Some Smackdown ratings that will pop you.
That was pretty nice right there. That was pretty nice.
I thought it did a good job. Chelsea and Naomi, 5. Apollo and Escobar, 5. Kevin,
six IMO, you know.
Kevin and Solo, 7. AJ and Cody, 9.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go. Alba Fire Isla Dawn title win, 6. We have Chad and Sammy, 7. Bailey and Piper, 7. And then Priest Drew, 8. Okay, we'll reset there for a moment. I'm looking at the chat to see if there's any hot takes. I like the 7. I should note that in. Okay, I want to note this. Yeah, but this is important. What was the Alexa Nikki match? Did I say that ages ago? Or was that one I recently read? Was it the start or the end?
Yeah, you give it a 7.
7, average of 6.45. So I mean, it's not like I went outrageous. I'm a very measured guy. You know this about me. Very, very measured.
Did the site make you write an explanation?
I write an explanation anyway because I'm a professional. I'm told if you're more than 2 away from the average, you have to do a longer explanation, I'm told.
Yeah, I was going to say, because here's my thing. When Cage Match's average score is about what I'd rate something, I have no incentive to rate it. But when I have an incentive to rate on a Cage Match, it's when a match I like is being badly underrated, or if a match I dislike is being overrated, then I'm like, I got to rate this thing to fix it. But then when I do that, Cage Match is like, explain yourself. I'm like, go fuck yourself. Leave me alone. So then I don't want to do it.
Yeah, they get very aggressive. A friend of mine got thrown off the website because he was, quote, frequently overrating Becky Lynch matches, which is one of the funniest emails anyone has ever received, I think. But so
that's amazing.
Hopefully I get one of those.
I think AO's been thrown off Cage Match like 5 times.
That rules.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We need to delve into that. Right, where was I? I was at okay, the first Marigold main event, 9 out of 10. Love that fucking match, dude.
It's awesome.
Hashimoto and Shinya Aoki, recent one that Ash recommended to me. I gave it an 8.
Mm-hmm.
The fucking tag title change at Noah, 6. Gabe Kidd and Kaito, give it a 9. Here we go. If this will put you. Super crazy opener from Noah, 4. 018 man from Noah, 4.
Oh my god.
Starboy Charlie in the Noah Junior title match, 5. Collision's first main event, a healthy 9. What a fucking piece of shit.
Absolutely.
I love it. Right, we've got Collision here, BCC 7, Deonna and Thunder 6, Dante and Lee 6, main event 6. That was an interesting show, I thought. Bron and Sheamus 6. Would you higher on that?
A little. You know what's funny about that match is so it felt like they had to kind of find their groove over the course of it. And in a weird way, because this obviously is not the best match they have in them by any chance, right? But in a weird way, I kind of like that they kind of like worked themselves into a rhythm that clicked rather than just kind of like doing a rehearsed match. It felt like, even though obviously I'm sure they laid out a bunch of this stuff, it felt like they were just kind of like going for it and wrestling and being physical and fighting and seeing where it takes them and seeing where the audience takes them. And so, I mean, I don't. If I had to give it a rating, like it's probably like a 3.25-ish or 3, maybe a little bit higher. But I just kind of liked it. You know, I just kind of dug it. And by the end of it, right before the DQ, I thought it was turning into a really nice match.
I agree. It's very gritty, and it's the kind of thing that pops us, even if it's got flaws, right? So I get that. Right, so I've got the new, not new, but I've recently got the best of Nitro sets. So I've been working through some of these. So Liger and Pillman, 6 out of 10. It's more of a statement than a great match. Let's be honest.
The first one, right?
Yes.
I mean, the one on the
first Nitro. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Because the Super Bowl one is awesome.
Yes, absolutely. Big Bubba and Hogan, 4 pop. On and Flair versus Hogan and Savage, 6. Sting and Luger versus the Road Warriors, 6. Regal, Finley, backstage parking lot brawl, 7. Fucking rules.
And that's awesome.
Yeah, it rules. Eddie and Flair, 7.
That's a good match.
Yeah, they get like 20. It's not like it isn't as good as you might imagine, but it is a good wrestling match, no doubt.
Correct.
Triangle tag, Harlem Heat, Lex and Sting, the Steiners, 4 out of 10.
That sounds awesome on paper.
It does, but triangle Harlem Heat matches are always, you know.
Yeah, it's just too much. It's too complicated.
Here is where, and now I'm glad you asked me to do this, because here's where I leveled up, okay?
Oh, boy.
Because now I've rated so many matches, I have the power to be the first person to rate other matches. The first person in the world of cage match.
What do you mean?
It's like, you know those matches that say not recommended yet?
Yeah.
And there's no ratings? I can now break that. I can now be the guy rated.
That's awesome.
Get ready. Here we go. Big Daddy Volta and Zack Sabre Jr. versus Doc Gallows and the Machine Gun Cole Anderson, 2015 WXW.
Holy shit.
It's good, dude. We found it recently.
I bet you it's good.
7 out of 10, 3.25. Sounds like them, right?
Hell yeah.
I also was the first man to ever rate Finn Balor and Samoa Joe versus the Good Brothers. 5 out of 10. We're in the home stretch here, folks. Mr. JL and Ray Jr., 6 out of 10. They put this shitty Dean and Ray match on the DVD, bro. It's one from it's like a random time limit draw. They go 10 minutes. That's the one they put on the Nitro disc. It's so weird.
They didn't put the gorgeous one from the that Disney outdoor. Remember that outdoor one?
Yes. Classic. They didn't put that on there. They put this shit on there instead. And it's a 6 out of 10. It has a 5.94 average. Andre, I can't even get this one out without popping. Andre Chase and Duke Hudson versus the Good Brothers from last night's NXT. Steady 5 out of 10.
Beautiful.
Carney Jordan and Meechin, 5 out of 10. And then I did the Bobby Roode Grin Grappler matches, which was 9 for Team Canada. The Jeff Jarrett match got 6. 8 for the Motor City match, 8 for the Storm match, 8 for the Atami match, and an 8 for the Revival tag that no one made any sound for. That is my cage match. Official cage match standings here at Joe Promotions. Once you challenged me to do it, I had to just go for all of them. I had to, didn't I? And
I'll tell you what, Joe.
Yeah, mate.
There's a burden on your shoulders now.
There is.
Because you have to keep this consistency. You have to stay a good match rater. You cannot slip like certain people. You know, there have been people historically, critics of wrestling, insiders, people with newsletters, who establish a standard, stick to it, really, really establish themselves as good match raters, and then they slip, Joe, and then there's no consistency anymore, and there's no standards. You cannot fall into this, Joe.
I can't. I'm saving cage match. That's what I'm doing.
Exactly. See, that's why I struggle with cage matches, because I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I got to do it right. And if I do it right, I got to devote time and energy and spirit and effort. And
Yes.
You know, I'm going to turn into a sick fuck. And
I
so
am legitimately treating it like Letterboxd, bro. I'm logging everything I watch. It's unfortunate, really. Very sad.
God bless. God bless. You're going to lose your mind in a few months, but it'll be fun to see the journey and the ride.
A few weeks, probably, but yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to tell you the average rating for the Super Crazy match from Noah.
What is it?
Here's a 5.5.
It's too high.
Someone gave it a 10.
All right.
They should all be banned forever. Listen to this. So, all right, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to read all Phil's ratings out, but I'll read you my rating. I found this to be quite unfortunate, sadly. It very much had the vibe of a Mania weekend indie multi-man that had come and go at 4 p.m. without fanfare. That's fine conceptually, even if misplaced here, but the execution of the outline was incredibly rough around the edges. Am I wrong? I'm wrong.
No, that LJ Cleary guy was stinking it up.
Yeah, apparently he's supposed to be good. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I heard that and I watched this and I was like, my God, he's like moving like Blake Christian out there.
It's hard to keep up on who's good and who's not these days. You notice that?
Yeah. You hear certain names and you watch me like, Mike, like that's him? Okay. People think this guy's good, huh? I'll let you in on the secret, Joe.
Please do.
This is completely unrelated to anything we've been talking about.
Good.
Yeah. I trust the Hulbert house show, Hubert Promotions universe. So I want you guys to keep this secret with me. I'm going to share it with you guys. As long as you guys don't leak it, it's just, shh. I may or may not have booked a segment for next week's Smackdown.
Does it involve Cole Anderson attacking Randy Orton? Because if not, I don't want to hear it.
It is related to the New York Knicks, indirectly.
Even better. Okay, that's a secret, folks.
And I'm gonna just say this, guys. You'll know it when it comes, and I just want you to know that if this gets over, it was my idea, and if it totally flops and bombs, you didn't hear this, and I have nothing to do with it.
We'll edit it out, dude.
Absolutely.
I'll timestamp this bit, and we just clip it out. No one will even know.
There's
the power of editing, right? We'll get Tope on it.
100%.
Right.
Let's answer some questions, Joe.
Let's do that, because this show has been me talking about my cage match for the last 20 minutes. So
I mean, that's pretty sick too. You know?
If you have questions, folks, put them in the chat. I haven't seen any of them because I've been talking about my cage match. So if you have questions, now's the time. Josh asks, are they just waiting until SummerSlam for Jacob Fatu at this point? Feels like the bootleg bloodline could use him now.
Maybe. I'll tell you what, Joe. I was thinking about this. Because I was, people were kind of putting their SummerSlam fantasy booking cards together and like based on like logic of the creative. And I was looking at these cards. I'm like, I am not excited for SummerSlam. People are putting together cards like Solo versus Cody, Priest versus Gunther. You know, and these guys, I'm like, I don't like any of this. What is wrong with you guys? And I gotta be honest, Joe. You remember how last time I was on here, I confessed to you that I missed Freakin'?
Yes, absolutely. We agree we respect him now. I remember this.
Yeah, and he comes back, and it's crazy how things open up here. The floor opens up. There's more spacing. There's more lanes now to drive in without big men clogging the lane. You don't have to do stagnant half-court mid-range basketball. He comes back, and there's a chance that he faces Gunther. And I'll tell you, what's a sexier lineup that feels more like SummerSlam, Joe? The one that I just named to you, where it's, let's say they do Drew Punk, Solo Cody, and Damian Priest versus Gunther, or Seth Gunther, Drew versus Punk, and Cody Randy. That's SummerSlam. Right?
That's better. But
right,
if Seth is actually going to just beat Priest, couldn't he have just beat Drew and Drew could have won in Glasgow?
Say it one more time.
Well, remember the whole thing was like, who could beat, if Drew won in Glasgow, who would have beat him in Canada? Mm-hmm. Couldn't Seth have just beat him now that we know Seth was coming back, and then they could have had a rematch from WrestleMania?
But he needed, I guess Drew needed to be screwed or fucked over, you know?
Couldn't he be screwed in Toronto, Canada, though?
He could. I spoke to WWE about this, and their response was, then what Drew McIntyre said about Priest on the TV would have been correct, which is that he's a transitional champion, and we wanted to validate his run without just totally moving on. And yeah, they basically said, it would have been damaging to Damian Priest if he just
God forbid.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So they wanted to, actually add credibility to his run and validate the few months of TV that we devoted to him in his championship run. And so he got the big win. Drew gets screwed in Glasgow, Scotland for the heat for Punk. And then you transition to Seth Rollins. That was their explanation to me. That's not my explanation to you. That's just their explanation to me. So that's their logic.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you asked. That's all you can do in this game, right?
I try to be a journalist, you know.
There's one thing you're famous for is you try to be a journalist. This is a very famous thing about you. All right. What else have we got here? Thanks for the question, Josh. The final, I don't know if we answered it, but thanks for the question. The final boss, glad to see he's enjoying the show. He says, guys, who would Roman face at Mania if it's Rock versus Cody? I genuinely think it might be Roman versus Punk, and that's how you get Heyman away from him. I agree. I think that's very possible, actually. I agree with the final boss.
That'd be fun and really funny. I think that would be an incredibly funny program.
It does make sense, right? Like, because who's the next star?
Mm-hmm.
It would be Punk and Paul Lee. I think it's good logic.
I'm with it. I opened my Twitter machine on my phone, and being blasted with memes and clips and images of Joe Hendry.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Joe, people want him to replace Chad Gable next week in the Money in the Bank qualifier. Okay. This is a thing people want.
Who else is in that match? Braun and who?
And Braun Reed and Braun Strowman.
That's even funnier.
Exactly.
I think we answered this question with the last one. Book the Mania Night 1 and Night 2 main event. That might be my answer. Cody and Rock, Roman and Punk, maybe.
That's maybe
Bianca and Rhea, maybe.
Oh, hell yeah. That's big time.
Let's fucking go.
Absolutely.
What is the Megan Bain situation? I'm confused. I'm confused too, bro. I have no idea. Do you have anything on that you can say that isn't like,
You're going to kill me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Everything I have on it will kill me. She's not with AEW right now.
Right.
Bottom line.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what things go. Are you guys fans of the Deadlock podcast or their content or watch DPW? I've seen a bit of DPW. I actually really like the way the shows are packaged and produced. The talent I find to be a little tough personally, because I'm not super into a lot of the modern indie guys. I have not listened to any Deadlock podcast. Everyone tells me I'd love it, but I have not. Have you listened to any of their pod?
No, that's the funny thing about this is I see little clips and they appear to be having like the time of their lives, and they're like it seems like one of those kind of jokey pods or whatever. But I've never watched a Deadlock video ever in my life.
No.
When I heard about DPW, I didn't know it was based off or it was built on the backs of like dudes with podcasts.
Pretty sick, right? Like
it's really cool. It's really cool.
There's dudes that do much less popular podcasts. That sounds like the dream.
WrestlePeers Pro Wrestling.
Can you imagine how shitty? Like we'd announce and everyone would be excited, and the match graphics would come out, and it'd be like Timothy Thatcher versus,
we pay. We're paying dudes like $400 a shot to just kind of make the towns. You start getting kind of the shittiest of shindy wrestlers. Is like, yo, man, thanks. just guys that want to get their name out there, you know.
Yeah.
Joe, we're sitting in Gorilla. We're like, oh man, this is this is
You're live tweeting the show like you're not running it.
yeah.
This match sucks.
Joe, I just write, oh man.
We'd have to do commentary, right, for the Wrestle Purist promotion. We'd have to.
Of course, we'd have to do commentary. The problem is, it'd be very difficult to not just give my opinions on what I'm watching. I feel like I go with full Jim Ross. Joe. I'd be like,
Yeah.
Joe, we see a botch spot in a multi-man, and I'm like, these are the challenges for a new promotion, folks. These are the things that happen, you know, sometimes. You know,
it's actually not true. If I was involved in Wrestle Purist as a promotion, I would definitely be a heel manager. I'd be like full. That's gotta be my role, right? Come on, bro. I gotta get some of these fellas over.
Joe, could you talking up like just some chubby guy that like we're pretending is our Yokozuna, you know?
Oh yeah. Absolutely I could.
It's like, you can't stop the great Babu. It's like, all right. What the fuck?
Fred, 6-star, asked about our thoughts on the July 13th Summer Destiny card for Marigold. Well, I don't have extensive thoughts on the card. I scanned the card. Of course, I know the big time EO appearance. What I do know is, but I don't know if you know this, 6-star is officially booked for the late night grin along that very night. So it's gonna be electric because we're gonna have a rotating team. So
holy shit, that's neat. Cool, the best thing I can say about this card 6 is that those top 2 matches scream Sumo Hall.
Sumo Hall is the best venue too, right?
Yeah.
If you said to me, put together your Ultimate Wrestling card, and then you said what venue, I would say this fucking run is Sumo Hall. I don't think I'd be very comfortable sitting there, but watching from home, oh my god, Sumo Hall's the coolest, dude. The absolute fucking coolest. Bev asked, how do you find someone cage match? So I think what you do is, I think there's a place where you can search Joey Bing Bong, but otherwise you could just go to one of the matches I just mentioned. Ideally, one of the ones where I'm the only person in the world that's rated them. It'll be easy to find me. And I think then you can click my profile. I think, Bev, do you guys remember Brian Pillman's character arc in late 95 WCW? Just rewatched it and it's absolutely spectacular. Of course. Do you remember this stuff ever when he's like a horseman, but he's also going fucking insane?
I was like, well, he's just going insane. And like, yeah, it's kind of early loose cannon stuff because he's just kind of like, he's almost like working like the commentary team a little bit and just being nuts and being kind of weird and off kilter and taking slight shots at management and stuff and Sullivan and, you know, Bischoff. Yeah, it's really neat. And he can still wrestle a little bit at this time. So it's like cool to see Brian kind of do that stuff and still be able to go. So yeah, I'm a fan.
It's really cool the stuff he does with Arn too, where Arn is increasingly frustrated with him because he's so unpredictable, right? Because Arn's thing is he's like the steady force of the Horseman, and he can't control Brian Pillman, and it rules. It absolutely rules. So it's really good stuff. It's a terrible shame that things went the way they did in every which way. You know, of course, he passed 97, but by the time he passes physically, he's so depleted. It's such a shame, dude. He was capable of doing so much more in pro wrestling. It's a shame. Okay. What else we got here? Brian asks, what's your guys' excitement for the G1 this year? 20 participants makes it way better, and Takeshita is a game changer for it. You can go on this, bro, because I don't really have a lot to say.
Sure. Well, I'm not excited, but I am optimistic that it's going to be a better G1 than last year. For the reasons you outlined, shorter lineup, a little bit more focused. You know, there's the young guys are in it, including Yuya Uemura, and we'll see how they fare. But Takeshita is really a nice addition. And if nothing else, it's funny because it's not even like the type of excursion where it's going to help Takeshita become a better wrestler. He won't improve. What he is doing, it feels like he's doing New Japan a favor rather than them doing him a favor.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like he's going in there and he's like, he gets the experience of working with this guy and that guy, and it helps him and he gets tools that he can bring back. No. He is a world-class wrestler who is contributing his services to New Japan, and essentially New Japan needs some scoring on this G1, and he's going to give them some points. He's going to give Goto and some of these other guys in this block their best match in years. So just from that standpoint, it'll be nice to see Takeshita kind of do that. As an overall tournament, again, to me, I think it should be better than last year, at least in theory. The thing is, like, I think it'll be better on average. Because the top two matches last year from the last two nights involving Ospreay and Okada and Naito, those were excellent G1 level matches. But the rest of the tournament was not like that. And so I don't know if we reach those highs, the highs of Ospreay and Naito, but I do think the average match quality is going to be higher. It should be, at least. So we'll see. We'll see for sure.
Are they still doing the deal where they've done it for like a decade now? So I assume so. Where like, you know, the B block has its own night and the A block has its own night. Are they still doing that, or are they going back to the good old days when it was
when they mixed it?
Yeah, because it used to. People don't realize, but for a long time, the G1, like, you would just get all of the tournament matches.
Mm-hmm.
That was the night. So then you would get like 8-minute G1 matches. You know, it was
sick.
It was very different. It was because I remember when they changed it in 2015. And suddenly you'd have like Yujiro and Gallows going like 15. You'd be like, what for what? You know?
Toru Yano in like a 14-minute match. And they're like, what is going on?
Yeah. And they were better avoiding that then. That's my biggest thing. The reason I didn't have a lot on this, Brian, is I think your points are spot on. I think it will be a better tournament. I have real issues with that house style, dude. It's like,
yeah, for sure.
Just watching these young guys that should be explosive and dynamic, and they're getting like crowbarred into 30-minute matches. I just think it's fucking insane. I don't get it.
That's my actual issue. Because the thing is, the house style is kind of annoying, but at least with the generation of guys that know how to do it, it's like, well, this is going to build and it'll turn into a good match or whatever, even though you've seen it a million times. A lot of these new guys, it doesn't even fit them. It doesn't fit their games.
No. It's worse because they're following guys that literally made that the style, so they look worse. It's just
just forge your own thing, dude. Joe, when Misawa and the rest of the Pillars came along, right? The King's Road house style that kind of in the main event scene that came with them was not what All Japan was doing the prior decade at all. No. That's not how they were working. That's not how Bruiser Brody and Terry Funk were wrestling.
No.
You know, that's not how they were fucking wrestling out there in All Japan. You know, they had their way of doing things, which was scrappier, a more brawling style, a more North American style, much more disqualifications. You know what I mean? You got a little bit of Memphis, you got a little bit of Crockett in there. And then these guys are having these kind of dramatic, epic matches with selling and fighting spirit and fire and dangerous bumps at the end. And that was their thing. And you know what happened, Joe, when the Exodus happened and Muto did his own version of All Japan in the 2000s? They did their own thing. They didn't just stick to the Kings. That's what you should do. When generations shift, you build your new dynamic around the people that you're going to be building your company around. So Yota Tsuji is a dynamic athlete who could do some cool video game moves, and he's explosive. Why are you telling him to work a fucking 27-minute epic where it just doesn't work? I remember, Joe, the first Tsuji Yuya match this year was good on Wrestle Kingdom. It was a good match. They had a second one on Sakura Genesis or something. And that match is awful. And they made these guys do like a slow burn epic, and it didn't work. It didn't work at all. They don't have the cachet of the other guys when it comes to the audience being invested in them while they're kind of getting the heat put on them or the submissions. It just doesn't work. So that's something New Japan really needs to look into. I've talked a lot about Tanahashi's 10-point plan that he's been discussing. I need to get someone to tweet to him in Japanese. Tanahashi-san, you need an 11th point. And the 11th point being tailoring the prevailing house main event style to the talents, sensibilities, and tendencies of today.
Yeah. Well, that's something someone sent a super chat on, I think worldwide, about house style and whether it should actually exist. And this is something we kind of stumbled upon, which is it should always be custom to the wrestlers you've got, right? The coach picks the players and then he decides what the game plan is. Wrestling's no different in that way. Yeah, it's frustrating, and it's a thing that I actually think it does get some play, but I think it's an underrated part of there's only how much farther can you climb up that ladder, dude? You're clearly going down, right? Like you're not like none of these guys are going to have the reign that Okada had in 2018 or whatever, 2019, 2017, whatever year you want to pick from. So to me, it's just pointless. You're just going back to the well over and over again.
When I think mid-90s WWF, right? I think of the work Sean and Brett would do on these In Your House pay-per-views, right? And how
Yeah.
usually you'd get that nice 3.5, 3 3/4, 4-star athletic wrestling match with dynamic moves and selling. And Sean usually would get a lot of early shine, hitting the ropes and doing all this cool stuff and posing and kicking the guy to the outside of the ring and all that type of thing, right? That's a very different WWF main event than the one you'd get in 1998, because what happens is Steve Austin kind of brings in his thing. And basically it's a template that's vaguely similar to what he did with Bret Hart, but it's kind of in a way that's you can mass produce, And so
Yeah.
the Austin main event, he did it with Dude Love at my God, what was it, Over the Edge 90. They did that formula for Steve Austin, and it works, where it's like back and forth. It's very action. There's a lot of outside fighting. There's a lot of fighting outside the ring. Late in the match, you get a lot of kind of chicanery and interference that Steve Austin would overcome and then win the match. And it's exciting and it's exhilarating. And, oh, man, you're triumphant. You leave the pay-per-view, Steve Austin wins again. That was the formula, and that worked for him. And it's funny because they did that also with Dwayne in 2000, and it's just like they would then plug other baby faces into that formula over the years. And at some point, like the WWE pay-per-view main event, all of a sudden it just doesn't hit the way it did. So that's the thing about these things, man. You need the players, you need the pieces. Otherwise, you got to just switch to a different game plan.
Yeah, it's also part of what you're promoting too, right? Like, go back and watch those Brett and Shawn matches that Ibby was alluding to, folks, and you'll hear the announcers beating you over the head with the idea that this is athletic,
Yes.
dynamic pro wrestling, this competition.
This
That
is
was
the
never the
WWF
way.
new generation, young
Right.
athletes, the young.
And I actually think some of that stuff has aged well. The issue is the undercard has aged,
right,
horrifyingly.
Yeah, I agree. I think the main event scene of the mid-90s WWF was really talented, and it's a shame. I think their roster was actually pretty fucking awesome. It's a shame like the product wasn't awesome, but that roster is awesome, and that's why there's like numerous gems to kind of mine through from that time.
Yes, absolutely. I say it's kind of a sweet spot for me personally. It pops me just because of the style. But
Yeah.
Connor asks, between your cage match gimmick and seeing how low Angle Orton from One Night Stand was rated, I am creating a cage match account as well. Well, I've seen some of this. I should get a bonus of some kind from cage match, or a gift of some kind.
They should pay you. Are you kidding me? We basically did free PR for cage match.
Yeah, I didn't even bury anyone either. I just
we put over just the meticulous the fact that you're approaching it like Letterboxd. I mean, my goodness.
I'm insane. I rated an On Anderson match and an Alexa Bliss match in the same day, bro. Like, there's no one else in the world that's ever done that. It's the first ever. It's a record. I'm sick.
100%.
Twisted.
You're not well.
I'm not. I'm really not. I saw today. Have you seen that we're on TikTok now at WrestlePurists? Have you seen this? We're on TikTok.
Unfortunate.
Dude, there's a TikTok where I'm talking about the Wyatt Six adding Alexa Bliss, but it's TikToked, so as all the visuals of the Wyatt.
That's really scary. Monty sends me these TikToks sometimes. Not the WrestlePurists ones. He just sends me TikToks in general, right? And I have to remind him every time, I can't open this because I don't have this app.
Yeah,
I don't have a TikTok.
I had to make one because Jay Shell was sending this to me, and I said the exact same thing to her. I was like, I can't see them.
People.
So I made one, and now I get this one of me. It's me on the TikTok.
It's very, very unseemly, very unsettling.
Horrible, dude. And I feel like people are going to find it and be like real mad about something I say on there.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll end up fine. Anyway. Good on you, Connor. This Save Cage match together. That's a new campaign I'm running around here. Connor also says, why do you think TK hasn't announced a single thing for the Rampage or Collision taping tomorrow besides a Chris Jericho match? As someone who's going, I feel like it's rib. He might not know what's on it yet, we're being honest with each other.
Yeah, I was going to say, I asked about the bracket yesterday for the Owen, and I was told we don't have one because it's not made.
Respect.
Yes, they probably just haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, like I was thinking about this the other day, I reckon I'd be like that. Do you think, what sort of booker do you think I'd be after a couple of years? Do you think I'd just sort of roll in, smoke a cigar, look up at the board and go, we'll put Max Caster in there, I
was going to say, I feel like you'd open up your promotion, right? Gung-ho with meticulous, very, very minute details figured out. show by show for months on end. And eventually, you'd be that kind of grumbly, disgruntled guy walking in there, you know, scratching your belly, looking around. And you're just like, I'm going to put this guy over today. Well,
I ponder this more than I should, because I sometimes, like, I read, we'll read the stuff about the way it is backstage, and I just think, Will Washington is a fucking trooper, isn't he? Because like, I don't know Will super well. I did a couple of shows with Will, but I bet he still is like, he goes in there and he does his best. He has a smile on his face. Could you imagine how quickly I would lose my way with that project, dude?
Oh man, I got to be honest, Joe. Because if you remember, like I said, I booked a segment for Smackdown next week.
You did, yeah, you did.
Yeah. As I'm pitching this over the phone, I feel like I had a beret on. I can't lie. I just kind of, that like kind of artsy visionary beret that people wear. I feel like I had that, and then simultaneously, I feel like I had the Paulie backwards hat.
For sure.
I'm expressively explaining this idea, right? And I feel like I'm expressing it in a way that's very persuasive, in convincing the person that I'm pitching this to that it's a good idea, And I feel like I did a good job because I'm kind of cutting a promo over the phone. And by the time I'm done, the response I got was, "Wow, man, that's good, that's good." And I was like, "Yeah, man," and I don't know,
you felt like the baddest man on the planet.
I felt like a bad man. I felt like a bad man, Joe. And
I'd be such a pussy, bro. Like, the first thing I would do is I'd hire Contrarian Alex as my assistant. And anyone I didn't like, he would deal with on my behalf. I'd always be busy when they needed to. And then the big LG would get to fucking TV, and I go, "Oh, here we go. Let's talk some plans,"
Right. What I'm looking forward to is, because this has to be one of the most gratifying things when you're in wrestling creative, is your idea being played out and it gets over in the building. That must be like you just pump your fist, like, yeah, like let's fucking go, I love that because every wrestling company now has like 19 writers and producers and stuff. You can just sink in and pretend you had nothing to do with it, Like,
oh yeah, I'd do that.
Oh my god, you're not watching Who Killed WCW, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday's episode was just a series of people absolving themselves of blame because we got to 2000 now. Now they're coming to WCW 2000.
Oh god. Okay.
It's a lot of like. I'm going to spoil one thing for you, Joe.
All right.
They asked Vince Russo about the David Arquette title victory, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is how he frames it. I'm in the office. Tony Schiavone.
Tony
says, "What if David Arquette wins the WCW championship?" I tell everybody in the room, 100% of the room agrees with the idea, and they all liked it. And at no point in the story is he saying, "This is what I wanted to do. This is what we're going to do. This is what He framed it as Schiavone's idea. Everybody loved it. Everyone agreed with it. And that just encapsulated everything to me,
He's what, dude? Bischoff's biggest superpower is getting pitted against Russo. Anytime Bischoff comes off bad, Russo's like, "Let me fucking hold my beer, Let me show you how it's done."
Joe, in the documentary yesterday, Bischoff is kind of going like, "Yeah, that was stupid. This was bad. It was a mess of a situation. It was really unfortunate. I was very unhappy, and we shouldn't have done that." And Russo's just like, "It was good, bro."
Exactly. That's what he did. His brain is fucking cooked, dude. You know what's going on. How long we got? Like 10 minutes?
They're cutting him, and he's just like, those first 3 months, the rating went up. He loves doing that one.
He's still doing that fucking rating. Yeah, bro, the ratings went up a couple percent, and all the houses and everything else went down.
Listen, bro, after I did the monkey fucking a football angle, bro, 20,000 more people tuned into Nitro for 2 weeks, bro. It's like, all right, that's cool, dude. He
would do that with TNA, where he would he'd hyper focus on the TV, and he'd be like, "What's the deal? What's the issue? We're at 1.5." It's like, yeah, but you're converting. A booker should convert at least, more than 0.2% of those people to buy the pay. Anyway, fucking idiot. All right, we'll do some questions for the last few minutes here. Andrew, do you think WWE will veer into being edgy during the lame duck period on USA before 2025?
I don't know if that's the period where they're going to do something specific, but what I do notice is that we're seeing blood on TV much more now.
Yeah. Feels like they're taking little baby steps, right?
Yes.
It will never be like, just I think the way society is, I don't think it will ever be the way it was in the Attitude Era. I don't think it should be.
No, all I want is for them to stop muting holy shit chants.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fucking
genuinely
brutal,
all I want is for them to stop muting holy shit chants and for them to be allowed to run the razor when it's appropriate in the match.
Yes. Because I think we're both, I completely, like, at this point, I'm so done with that whole shit about, like, if they could only bring back the Attitude. Like, fuck off, dude. It was of its time. Leave it, you know?
Yeah.
Just let them bleed and let them, you know, maybe just say shit once or twice in a year, you know?
Just let them bleed and say shit, you know?
Yeah, it'll be fine.
I don't need to see Liv Morgan's tits. I'm fine. I can live.
Incredible quote. Dame says, I believe in my heart, Io is Woman Wrestler of the Year. She already got the best women's match in American, so if she can have the same in Japan, it's 100% her fault. I don't follow Joshi closely. I know Saria's had a great year. Io has been spectacular, though. I mean, I can't really... Among the US companies, I think Io is probably the pick, personally.
Joe, I declared when the draft happened, I said this will unlock Io Sky.
Yeah.
Since this declaration, Io went from averaging 16, 5, and 4 to averaging 21, 7, and 7. It's been lovely.
Still efficient, too. Still super efficient.
Still super efficient. Still super
efficient. Riley asked where I saw the Good Brothers WXW match. It was found for me on the Late Night Grin Discord on an X-rated site. I'll say that. I'll leave it at that. We watched it as a family. It was a site I would legitimately not ask my PC to navigate. It was streamed for me in the comfort of my office here. So that's an absolute shoot as well.
My goodness.
What would you book to main event MSG Smackdown next week? Maybe the big 6-man, Bloodline versus Code RKO. It's perfect, right?
Hell yeah. And if you want to know what opens that show, stay tuned, folks.
Tremendous. All right.
If you guys snitch on me, that'd be unfortunate. I trust the I trust this universe, you know.
It's just a quiet little house show. You're supposed to record house shows, dude.
Nobody's watching.
No. If you are watching, hit the thumbs up. Brainbuster said, what are your overall thoughts on Hiroki Goto? I'm the high man on him and believe he should hold the Triple Crown for like 3 months at some point. On Anderson's favorite New Japan wrestler, famously. There's a thing that Dave Meltzer once said in passing, and we were just forced to just accept it without having any questions about this. Glorious thing to me. I think Goto is like a tremendous worker. To me, he's like the ultimate upper mid card guy who gives you a couple main event matches each year. Like,
yeah,
I always thought when he went beyond that, I didn't think he stuck. Mm-hmm. I remember he tried. Remember that Okada match where he had the pain and all that. Steve Corino used to call him a loser all the time. But he's a really good worker. I mean, I get why Arn likes him because he's a glue guy, right? Very steady, very solid.
He's
very
a great hand.
Yes.
He's somebody that in his prime was awesome. He is not in his prime, but he still remains a great hand that can be relied upon to deliver good matches. And I'll tell you what, because the Japanese scene is like this now, I do think he's now at the stage of his career that he could break away and just have a run at like All Japan. And they've done this now, Joe, where like these old dudes will just kind of fuck off to All Japan or Noah for a little bit. And like there's still some juice there because the fans like respect them.
Yeah.
And then like in the new setting, they could just be like the legendary guy from New Japan and just kind of get pushed for a little bit. So listen, I'll take some Hiroki Goto versus Kento Miyahara. I'll take Goto versus Anzai. You know, I'll happily take all of that. It's a shame Nakajima is wherever the fuck he is. But
yeah.
You know, like what's going on with that guy? But,
weird, right? Super weird.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I'm into your pitch, Brainbuster. I'm into your pitch.
I am too, of course.
I'm not into your Keiji Muto opinions, Brainbuster.
Yeah, he's a nasty guy. Goto is most famous, of course, for winning the World Tag League with the Machine Gun Carl Anderson, as we know. And do you remember their tag team name for that 1 month run?
No.
Swords and Guns.
I do. Oh my god! Yeah, I do.
Quietly the best machine gun team. It lasted 6 weeks. It was awesome.
Swords and Guns.
Josh says, do you think they're building Money in the Bank around Jay to try and swerve us? Gable with the possibility. Gable win possibly if he isn't in the Howdyverse. It is heavy-handed, the Jey Uso stuff, I must say.
I was going to say, the Jay stuff is so heavy-handed that I think he's actually not going to win. Because I just assumed he was. And then, like, everything about the build of the show and the match is about Jay, and the covers and the posters kind of tells me that, like, some bloodline business is going to be afoot.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be an angle to advance Roman's eventual comeback, right? Probably.
Yeah. The question was then who wins it, and it's crazy, Joe. Like people were in my live chat at Raw going like, "Dude, Gable's gonna do it," and I'm sorry, I'll believe it when I see it. Chad has now lost in big moments so much that I'm now the cynical guy. I love Chad. I love watching Chad. I will continue to love watching Chad. I will believe it when I see it when it comes to him. Did you hear what he said on TV on Monday, Joe?
Yeah, where he was like, I'll do what Otis never could, that deal.
He said he's going to win the world title.
Yeah, I just can't. I don't know. He's great. He's more than capable of it, but I don't know.
If he did it, I'd shed tears of joy, Joe. I'm just saying. I don't see it.
Speaking of things that make us shed tears of joy, look at this. Nakajima is going to attack AJ. Could you fucking imagine?
That's a match of the year candidate.
47-year-old Uncle Alan slipping and sliding as Nakajima tries to beat the shit out of him.
He's swinging these kicks and shit, and AJ's just ducking it.
That rules.
Can you imagine them trading slaps? Like, can you imagine them trading open-handed slaps and shit?
I would love to. I don't know if AJ wants to imagine that. Right, this is probably our last one. Go for it.
No, I was just saying, I could do some more. I feel like the guy at the press conference scrum that's like,
all right, keep them coming, folks. Keep them coming. We have Moxie Mayhem says, "Hi, what would a CM Punk run NXT look like, and who would be the top stars?"
Oh, that's a good question. I think a lot of the top names would remain the top names, but it would be a much different show.
Yeah, much more grounded, right?
Way more grounded, more focused on these people's personal stories and stuff. You get way less invisible camera. You get a lot more, interviews of the athletes on the stage and in the ring. And you'd get a lot of multi-person tag main events. And NXT has like 9 angles to show. Feels NXT would have like 1 to show.
It would be seeing how the WWE universe took to it would be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure they'd like it.
No, there'd be immediate complaints about how like he took the fun and the color and the life out of NXT.
He puts in steel barricades. We get a report from PW Insider saying that the lighting budget at NXT has been slashed by choice.
Joe, can you imagine us becoming sickos and watching it all of a sudden? Like,
yeah, of course I can.
Yeah, like hell yeah.
We turned worldwide into the Collision show for like 3 months, dude. Of course I could imagine that. Sounds like what we'd do.
That was so sick. We really did.
It was, dude. We got hell of. I mean, it kept us going there for a minute, right? Give us some life.
I loved it.
Yeah, no one got mad at us either.
Yeah,
what are you gonna do, right? What else we got here? Someone says he's going to sign Brock Anderson. Pop.
Yes, he would.
Probably. I think Brock will get signed anyway, just because the pit will love Arn so much. Triple H runs the fucking company, dude. Like
exactly.
We're not going to talk about Joe Hendry because I'm happy for him, and I don't want to. It's one of them. It's like, look, if you've seen it when I talk about this, it's pretty apparent we're probably not going to like Joe Hendry, and that's okay. He seems like a really good guy, and he's having a whale of a time, and he's done an amazing number. Did you see his tweet? His debut clip has got more likes on Twitter than fucking Edge's AEW debut, bro. Fucking Edge, he's bigging out, and it's unbelievable. I'm thrilled for it. It's great.
This is the world we live in.
Well, yeah, I was kind of getting past that part, but yeah, I mean, it's good for him, man.
Good for him.
What else have we got here? Okay, I'm sorry, folks. The StreamYard is very... Karan says, I'm slowly realizing I'm different to Claudio and AEW. How do you feel about him?
Interesting.
I don't love his usage in that he's like not an actual main eventer, but he's framed in a sense that like you can fool yourself to believe he is one. And I find it to be kind of uninteresting because he never does like actual singles feuds ever. Eddie's the only guy he's feuded with ever.
He's a who?
Eddie Kingston's the only guy, and that's partly because that stuff was Ring of Honor and they had more time, right? Like,
Yeah, he kind of feuded with Jericho. Yeah, he's not very interesting.
I mean, he's sick to watch wrestle, but it's just at some point you do kind of.
Yeah.
But I have that issue with the BCC as like an act. It just.
I hate them. So
Yeah.
When they finally, here's the funny thing, I don't hate them when they round them up for full team multi-person tags, but the thing is, they never do those, even though that should have been the vision of the BCC. Is a man getting to see Danielson and Moxley side by side kicking ass. Every time Danielson and Mox are in a tag together, whether it's a 2v2, 3v3, or 4v4, if Mox and Danielson are on the team at the same time, it's really cool. We just don't see it that much.
Yeah. Okay, I've got another Joe Hendry stay.
Wait. I want to say this.
Yes.
The first month and a half of BCC, I'm talking 2022.
Oh, it was sick.
When they were having those like 6-minute tag team matches that it would end with them stomping people's heads out, that was like peak wrestling.
Oh, it fucking ruled, and I think they honestly they were too popular, and they kind of had to become like a cool guy babyface act, and it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they tried to turn heel, it never quite like worked because people didn't really want to boo them, and they were fighting like they were like Punk's like stand-in representative in that weird feud with the Elite. When you look back on it now, it's like the thing they were feuding about was so strange. Remember the whole deal about they're not real wrestlers or whatever? It was weird.
Trust me, I remember that because I felt like I was on an island when I was like, this feud isn't very good.
Yeah. I liked it at the time, but it hasn't aged very well.
No, and yeah, just no.
Thanks to Carol for the Joe Hendry stats. Legitimately insane numbers. I'm not even doing a bit when I say that. Joe Monty Ibu versus AO, Chris, and Charlie in a Sunday podcast drive the current wrestlers. Dude, I think it's a sick idea. We like at one point was going to do that. Remember when Collision was the same thing?
Yeah.
We were definitely going to do that. It just didn't come to be. I'm cool to do it. I like doing the draft shows anytime, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see.
Who are some? I wonder if we can answer this for each other. Who are some grapplers that are pretty universally loved that you guys just aren't as high on? Okay, your one seed is Kota, right? It's got to be Dakota.
He's a Dakota or Kota Ibushi?
No, well, both. Dakota Kai. My bad. I forget about Kota Ibushi at this point in my life. I'm talking King Kota, Dakota Kai. That's what I'm talking about.
I actually quite enjoy pre-2021 Kota Ibushi.
He was awesome, dude. Fuck, yeah. Kota Ibushi was sick. It's just
you tweeted today, Joe, about his health status.
Did he?
He's still like, man, I'm gonna be there in AEW soon. I'll be back.
It'd be nice if he could get back. Hopefully he's
okay.
Do
you remember last year when they would just bring him in on pay-per-view to do tags with like elite members and stuff?
I sure do. They did it at Wembley, bro. It was crazy.
Yeah. So who are some grabbers that I just don't? Yeah, I'm not as high on Dakota Kai. I think she's fine.
Dakota. I'm trying to think of who else you don't like. You got very nasty about Uncle Alan for a while.
I did.
Very nasty. Like, you were not wrong that he'd had a cold stretch, but you were a little bit spiteful, I felt. It felt personal.
He would start to come out, and I would roll my eyes.
Yeah, when you did that tweet about, like, who cares about AJ Styles, that was, like...
that was tough.
That was crazy tweet, bro.
That was spiteful.
Who cares about one of the greatest wrestlers ever?
I wrote it off, like, who gives a shit about this guy, you
know? There's an obvious answer for me. Which I'll
go ahead.
Well, the fella who does the dance moves on Raw.
Dance moves on Raw.
Yeah, he throws a lot of chops and stuff. Little fella. He's a little fella, Good little worker.
Listen, Joe, when you get that 5-star match in Berlin, man,
Bro, that match is going to be unbelievable. I'm not a fool.
That's the funny thing. It's going to be unbelievable. He's going to make a certain face when he kicks out a move and be like, "Is that only a cock?" And he's going to be like, all exaggerated. You're just going to say, "Fuck."
He had a match with Coleman, and I was like, I actually think this is quite good.
And everybody hated it.
Everyone hated it but me. I was like, this match is good. And then at the end, he he like becomes like this like demented sort of performance artist. he's like talking and he's doing dialogue, and I'm thinking, brother, this is a match with Baron Corbin. I'm like, what? Can't he just win? That's what frustrates me, is he's so physically, he's everything I like in a wrestler. The theatrics, and I get that's why people like him. I completely understand this. That's what will probably get him over. But he is so theatrical. I just can't do it, bro. It's like too much for me.
What kills me is I asked someone in WWE, I'm like, are you guys telling him to do that? And they flatly said no. And I was like, that rocks. That kind of rocks.
Yeah, he's like, he isn't acting, like he's just nuts. And I respect that. But it's just, yeah. He's a
when wrestlers are just kind of shooting sane, it's kind of sick.
Yeah.
You know, so
he is. And he, again, folks, when he wrestles Gunther, that's going to be spectacular. Let's be real. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen that. We've done that dance before. Jake says, "I'll be positive and flip it." Graps this is funny. Grapplers put a line high on that you love all of them.
Oh man,
everyone and I are league leaders in. If we see a wrestler get stick, we go, "Well, maybe he's pretty good, actually." You know, we do that a lot.
I like a lot of grapplers that people should. I think Braun Strowman's terrific.
Oh, he fucking rules, dude.
I think he rocks. You know?
Do you remember that stretch you had? You're starting to bring it back, and it's a shame, but there was a time where you actually, like you said publicly, you said, I really want to like Karrion Kross because no one else does.
Yes.
That was when I knew you and I were going to become fast friends, you know, because it's like, that's the way my brain works, dude.
Yeah, it's just like,
what's wrong with us? Why do we do that?
Because social media is a hive mind, you know? It's like, you know, they're just telling you who to think sucks. It's like, no, let me decide he sucks, you know?
It feels like the kind of mindset that can get someone into conspiracy theories, though, you know? It feels dangerous. Like,
listen, at the end of the day, there's the woke left, and then there's, you know, the rest of the country, you know? So, yeah, the woke left tells you how to feel about these guys. Like, maybe I like Braun Strowman. Maybe I like,
Braun Strowman, I don't even think to me, that ain't even controversial, bro. That dude is sick. Like, he's 6'8" and he does like running shoulder tackles. He's awesome.
Would Undertaker count at this point? Because he's pretty shitted on social media.
Some of the stuff, like, look, people will of him, but some of the shit people say about Taker's crazy. I'm sorry, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think I
love Undertaker. He had a ton of good matches, dude.
People will act like he has like 4 good matches ever, and like everything else is bad, and that's not true. It's not true.
I actually hate the Taker Sting thing now because I like Sting more, but the way people argue for Taker, the way people argue against Taker makes me want to pick Taker because he annoys me. Like,
it's a very annoying conversation.
Someone quoted the Taker Sting thing and was like, Sting's better because he never had a bad year.
And it's like,
what
are you talking about? Yeah, that's the thing. Joe, you know what my problem is? The conversation is now being dominated by people that are like too young to have been around or haven't seen certain things or are just operating off recency bias. Part of why his AEW run is amazing, Sting that is because it got to offset what was numerous bad runs or bad years. And a lot of it isn't his fault. It was the creative. But, brother, there's an argument to be made, Joe, that from like 98 to like 2013, there's maybe one good Sting year in that entire stretch of time.
Right. Which is fine. We don't care. We think he's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like,
it's just weird. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's just, and let's just be clear, he was a good character in TNA. Like, he was a good TV presence. But matches in the late 2000s, Taker blows him away matches.
I said this all the time, Joe. I said this on previous house shows. I was on those fucking forums, and if you brought this conversation up in 2009, you'd get laughed at if you said, I think Sting is better than Undertaker.
Absolutely you would, dude. It was, Because again, I like Sting more. I'm just saying, let's be real.
Yeah.
Taker was definitely the more psychologically sound wrestler of the two of them. I mean, Taker could lead guys better, I think. Sting was an energy guy at his best and an aura and a presence guy,
Mm-hmm. It's why Mark, they would throw young big men at him in the 2000s and just kind of be like, work a program with this guy,
Yeah.
I listen, and there's not even me saying you should think Taker's better than Sting. I just think that the conversation is like tedious and annoying, and there's been an overcorrection.
Yeah. Again, I don't even think Taker is betting Sting. The way people discuss it, I just think it's silly. Do we think we don't see The Rock until WWE goes to Netflix now?
I think he will appear before then.
Yeah. By the way, our friend Kiwi's brought up old Booger Red Undertaker gimmick. When he recently said he likes Gunther, I had two thoughts in my head. Imagine the match that old Booger Red Mark would have with Gunther, firstly. Secondly, and more importantly, imagine how offensive the promos would be.
Oh, man.
You imagine just American flag, draped over him.
That program would have been awesome.
It would have been very offensive.
The Undertaker represents everything wrong with this place. And Taker's been like, let me tell you something, little German boy. Like, it would just be crazy.
German boy.
Yeah, right. Fucking Kaiser's doing the pose, and he's like, "Dead ring gonna Doom, dead man walking. You done it now." Listen, Kaiser and Vinci are running at Undertaker. Taker does the throat slaps and double choke slams him and shit.
He would have beat the fuck out of poor Kaiser, bro.
He would have beat the shit out of Kaiser and Vinci. He would have spiked them in the head with chair shots.
Oh, yeah. There was a clip recently where he was talking about chair shots, and he just goes, "It's the most like wrestler man." He goes, "We didn't know about CTE." I understand it wasn't like an advanced line of it, but surely people would have sort of cracked the code on maybe it isn't a good idea, to just fucking nail each other over the head. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a scientist, but
in their minds, it's like, he got his belt run. All right, fuck. Next town.
Yeah, next town. Josh says, "What do you think about Javon versus Trick?" I'm thinking Trick wins in a possible Javon tournament. It seems like they're in a 4-way, right? Now, seems like maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Ego beat Javon, and Spears is involved, and they're in Toronto. It feels like they're going to do a fatal 4-way in Toronto.
I will say this: it's probably the best because I like Evans. I think he's lightning in a bottle. However, might be a little too much too soon, and you don't want to maybe burn his title chase this quickly if you want to kind of do more with him and get more out of that. And I don't want to see Ego in a singles title match again.
Yeah, I agree. You know what I like about Javon? He has this very unique sort of charm, I find.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't know how you probably would have a better job of explaining it, but he almost feels a little bit like a comic book character who's out of his costume when he's out of the ring, do you know what I'm saying? He's like, he seems like a normal guy and he's likable, but he isn't like a nerd. He feels he's got kind of cool. I feel like I like him. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
And especially with Trick, they have a cool dynamic.
Yes, they had a backstage interaction yesterday. I was
yeah. Trick is one of those characters who everyone feels cooler when they're around Trick, and they have more personality when they're around Trick.
So literally, my friend said that to me. He texted me. He said like just being on screen with Trick is like a +1. Like it's just like you just feel cool.
I know he fucking he's not got a lot in the ring, but
mm-hmm.
It's not like there are guys who have good looks, but his personality is just dynamite, dude. Like
yeah, absolutely. He's a great TV character.
I really hope it works out.
I think commentary during the main event, and my friend was telling me that he sounded like just like a sports commentator or something, or an athlete. He's just like, I feel like he's talking about football out there. But he's talking about wrestling. He's just kind of like, yeah, man, Javon got to just avoid the ribs. If this guy's gonna go for the body, you got to just duck around and don't let him hit your body. But you got to really speed the match up and speed the game up. Javon got this. He's fast, he's hungry, man. But Ethan Page, man, he is a veteran, man. He's from a different world. Not my world, but he's a different world. I don't pop. He's just talking like that, and it just pops me in a weird way, in a totally different way. It feels like when Booker T was kind of getting organically over in the late 90s, and he just kind of had that charm and that personality, and you would hear him, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm just go out there, man, and I'm going to do what I do. We're going to raise the roof out here in WCW and WCW Thunder. Now, can you dig that? And you're like, yeah, I like this guy. I just like this guy. So,
yeah. That was Booker's thing. Booker's one of those guys who, I don't know if Booker was actually, a great promo so much as he was a great personality and presence. They're different things. Right? Booker, he felt like a major player, and he felt like someone that you liked and someone that was endearing. That doesn't necessarily mean his content was always great, but who give a shit? If people reacted to it, they reacted to it. And he, as you said, he kind of organically emerged as a singles player in the late 90s. So, yeah, it's an interesting one for sure. Very interesting. Right. How long we got, Ibu?
Let's do 5 minutes.
5 minutes, folks. 5 minutes. So at 4:55 Eastern, we'll be wrapping. All right, folks? So lock in. Better work. CM Punk 2013 or AJ 2016? Oh, man.
I like 2013 Punk more. You can toss this one up, though.
Yeah, they're both great.
Yeah.
I would say, how does this work for you?
Okay.
I reckon Punk, I think his big matches are better.
Okay.
But I think AJ was more consistent because they were in very different headspaces at the time.
Punk hated his life and hated WWE, but in a big moment, he's gonna deliver to show WWE pieces of shit. AJ Styles was just happy to be there and eager to show how good he was.
Yeah, because if you look at like Punk's big matches, Brock,
yes,
the
Taker.
best Jericho match, the Taker match.
Yep.
It's like I think they're the best matches.
His first Rock match, not the second. His first Rock match is good. So,
and he has the Cena match on Raw.
Oh my god, he was a monster. Yeah, he was a monster.
Yeah, see, I think the best match is his. But AJ, if you just picked a random TV, I'd imagine AJ's match is better just because he was so. It was his first year in the company, dude. He was fucking going nuts, you know.
AJ had like a 3.5-star floor in 2016.
Yeah, I've said it to you before, but he to that era, that like 2016, 2018. He was the closest thing they had at that stretch because Dragon was out, right? It was like what Brett was in that generation we were talking about earlier, where it was like the rest of this stuff is really dumb and silly, but AJ's having serious matches at least. Like, I remember there's a pape where someone in the chat will be able to tell us what the pape was, but he worked with Miro in a world title match. AJ did. I don't know if you remember this match, dude. It is tremendous. Like, Miro's the heel, but it's when they're doing Rusev Day.
Okay.
So they just cheer him, and AJ just flips it and lets Rusev sell and be the babyface. It's fucking awesome. Like, unbelievable match. No one remembers it because it was WWE in 2018, right? Like, what it didn't lead to anything.
I feel like I was looking through AJ's cage match and I saw I think Dave get like 4.25 or something.
Right. Extreme Rules 2018, that was.
Yeah, I don't remember this.
Let's have a look what else was on this card, bro. This will be a nice way to wrap up our day here. 2018. The summer of 20. This is when they've gone back to the mixed pay-per-views that went on for 5 fucking hours.
Yes. Oh my god.
One of the worst things they ever did. And they pretended like it was a good thing for me. They would be doing this. All right. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 14,000 in the house. This has a 3.63. 3.63 out of 10, dude.
Whoa. Was the main event Nemeth and Rollins?
Yes, it was. 30-minute Iron Man, 5.5.
Yeah, I remember. What did Dave give that?
3.25. Very respectful.
I remember that match. I don't remember anything else on this card.
Oh, fuck, dude. I've just seen. Okay, right. I'll do this quickly because we've got to run out of time. Raw tag titles, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel over the Deleter of Worlds, Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. 3.84 out of 10. Title change.
Oh, my God.
Finn Balor, Baron Corbin, 8 minutes. Finn up, 4.84 out of 10. This next rating has legitimately blown my mind.
Okay.
SmackDown Women's title, Carmella over Asuka, 0.54.
How long was this match?
5 minutes and 25 seconds. Dude.
Wow.
Whatever you think of Carmella, she like the one thing with Carmella is she's like steady, right? Like, she has very like fine matches. What did they book that made it that bad, right? Like, because it has to be booking. It has to be. Maybe they did like some run-in or something. I don't know. If anyone knows in the chat.
It has to be creative based.
Yeah, because if they just had a match, I'm not saying it would be good, but it wouldn't be like terrible. It would just be a match.
No, it would just be a match.
Shinsuke beat Jeff Hardy for the US title in 6 seconds. What the fuck, bro?
Who'd he beat?
Shinsuke beat Jeff Hardy in 6 seconds. Okay, apparently it was an Ellsworth run-in, so that makes sense.
Okay.
Kevin Owens, Braun Strowman, steel cage match. This is when Kevin took one of those crazy bumps. This is a 3.53.
I hate that. That feud was not good.
Awful. It killed Kevin for a while too.
Yes.
SmackDown tag titles. This is the closest thing to a good match we've had in a while here. 5.18 Bludgeon Brothers over Team Hell No. That should be good, dude. How is that not good? What are they doing to this fucking company?
Oh my God.
Bob Lasher over Roman Reigns, 6.43.
That was right. That was okay.
14 minutes. I'm sorry, I'm popping already.
Joe, the fact that like a 6 out of 10 match is like salvaging things. It's like, man.
Get ready. Women's title, Extreme Rules match. Alexa over Nia. Listen to who's in the corners on this. This is funny. Alexa has Mickey in her corner, which I remember. Nia Jax with Natalia. What? Why?
Well, you know at this time, Natty would just be places. You know, she would just be thrown in.
This is where WWE was crazy. It's like they would do Alexa and Nia, and they would get through about any incident. They go, "What if we do it 2 more times, 3 more times?" You know, it's like, no, you did it. You got away with it. Just never do it again.
Yeah, just move on. You know.
AJ and Rusev has a 7.48, and then you get to the main event. So
that's
what a fucking horrible time that was, dude. Jesus wept.
This is why I say, because I just saw someone and it was an account I really, really love. He gave his wrestling hot take, and he basically said that, like, my hot take is that WWE hasn't improved at all. And you know, people can and are entitled to like whatever they like. You know what I mean? You don't have to like what WWE does, right? But it is absolutely better than
oh yeah,
this, right? It just
which says more about how bad it got than
for sure. Like people, I think that's what it is, and I always stress this to people. I think people kind of forget how low we sunk. I think people forget how low we. Yeah.
But we didn't sink tonight, brother. We got ourselves a nice house, had a wonderful time. Please like the video, folks. Ibu, any final words before you run?
Any final words before I run? No. I was thinking for something profound to say. I have nothing to say, Joe. I have absolutely nothing to say. Thank you for watching the Hulbert House Show. Yeah. I did this on a complete whim. Dynamite looks good tonight.
It does.
Dynamite looks good tonight. It looks like one of those pre-monthly pay-per-view era lineups. Like when they would just be like, we want 2 4-star matches on the show. That slowed down. So this is
pretty excited.
I'm pretty excited as well, and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm well rested today. So for the first time in weeks, I feel like when I get home late tonight, I'll be able to watch the whole thing without falling asleep.
We'll see. We'll see how you do there, brother.
I don't know if you check my Dynamite live tweets, they always cut off at a certain point.
Oh yeah, they do. So do my DMs. All right, folks, here's the deal. When we end this video, I need you to comment below. I don't know what you should comment because I don't remember what we talked about. Maybe comment like your favorite cage match rating or something like that. And also, in 3 minutes, at HeyHeyTope on Twitter is going to have a new edit that's premiering. I don't know who the edit is about, or what the song is, or what there is. I don't know. But it's doing it in 2 minutes here at HeyHeyTope. Are we going to watch the Kendrick show? You're working when it's on, right? Because it's on at like 8:30, I want to say, Eastern.
Where's that going to be on? Where's it going to be brought streamed on?
Is it an Amazon streamer, I think? Maybe?
I was going to say, I'd love to watch it, but where would I go to even see that?
I think it might be. I don't know. We're old. We'll figure it out.
Someone link. You know what? This is where you guys can be useful.
Twitch and Amazon. There you go.
Somebody link me when this thing is happening so I can listen to it while I'm at work.
There you go. Good soundtrack. All right, folks.
Yeah.
HeyHeyTope, comment below, like the video. You know where to follow us and all that good stuff. I'll be on WrestlePure tomorrow with a Dynamite review. Yes, I am back and making a town. Wish me luck. Here is a very funny image of our past. 6-star. I love you. I need a thumbnail because we did this on 1 minute's notice. Have a great day. Enjoy Dynamite. Speak soon. We're out of here.